Alright fellas, here we're back in our Pokemon Horizons video where we've got ourselves episode 95 titled Strong Spheres. We remember last time we saw at the very end of the episode that some people were walking around talking about these new spheres that Exceed was developing that can make your Pokemon super strong. Well, this is where we finally get to see how they work, what's in play, and this episode, honestly on all fronts, I think is really good. I mean, they're really hitting with these episodes. So start out with getting breakfast. My God, that's a lot of breakfast. Jesus, I could not eat that much. Anyway, so she moves on from talking about their breakfast to the building. The building that they found is Exceed's testing center. So that was why the Vileplume was going so crazy. It was nearby this, some stuff was happening, yada yada, right? Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. It says apparently they're gathering trainers and testing a new product. And they don't know what the details, but it's called Strong Spheres. Again, I remember last episode, they subtly hinted towards this whenever the Pokemon in the Pokemon Center were like coming in and like, they weren't in good health. I mean, people were thinking, obviously, it could be the Vileplume, but I don't think it was. I think it was the offset or like the output of whatever they're making with this testing center here, and that's what was affecting the Pokemon, and that has some trace effects that are kind of like made of note later on in this episode, right? So that is just something interesting to me. Again, kind of foreshadowed a little bit last time without actually directly even showing us the testing center up to that point. Anyway, new product called Strong Spheres. And it says that she heard someone talking about that. This is the flashback to the last episode where someone mentioned it. It says that the Vileplume was acting really weird near that testing building, and there's no way it's just a coincidence. So it did seem that the Lockweem had actually, traced out of that building and hit, and trace amounts of it came to Vileplume and made it go rampant, like rampaging, rampage, whatever, made it rampage, right? And again, same theory for the other Pokemon that came in the Pokemon Center at that time, just they had less of the direct effects of it. There's no way that's just a coincidence, and then Roy says they should investigate, and Dot says she's going to gather more information while they are doing that. So we see a bus pull up to the building, and we have our trio. I honestly forget Dot's not a part of it anymore. Well, she is, but not physically here. Anyway, we got ourselves our duo here, just looking at the side of the building, doing the classic Looney Tunes, like Scooby-Doo gang type of look around the corner, which is really funny. And they see Ult actually get off the bus, looking pretty disheveled, not really looking too good. The guy does not look like he's been having a good time, honestly. So they do question. Roy is very questioning of why Ult is here, and we see the intro title of the episode, Strong Spheres. Obviously, nothing really too much to go into that title. Strong Sphere, it's the main item of this episode that needs to be explored. So Liko does ask Roy if something seemed weird about Ult, and Roy just kind of like brushes off a little bit, kind of agrees with her a little bit, and then we just kind of move on. We do get a little bit more of an explanation on that later. It's honestly pretty funny. It really is. Crockler just looks to the side of it, and a security guard actually notices them with its... That's Houndour, because it doesn't have the Houndoom horns. Scout the Houndour. That's a big Houndour, by the way. Anyway, he yells out to them saying that the event's about to start. He doesn't know who they are, doesn't think that they are like bad people or whatever. So, could have been a close call, but whatever. So, we do go inside the building here, and we do get the announcement welcoming to the Exceed Testing Center. We have a bunch of trainers here that are actually looking at this. It's going to be a live demonstration of these strong spheres, which we may as well start calling them Lockweem spheres, because that's basically what they are. We get to see this girl come out with her Swanna, and they both look very nervous. You can see it on their face, is that I'm guessing it's because they're not very confident as trainers and being selected as like the choice for testing in this testing center, because we know later that they are not very confident in their abilities and their strengths. And it turns out this is actually someone from the Terrestrial course. I don't really remember any of the other non-main characters or like main antagonists that were in that, so cool to point that out. I would not have known that otherwise, but I guess she was in the Terrestrial course alongside Liko, Roy, and Dot in Paldea. So interesting. Says that apparently Miss Bach has been struggling to grow as a trainer, and that the Lockweem sphere, Strong Sphere, whatever, will cause them to do a lot better. It's handy and user friendly, and the latest power up in items, and they say that is what the sphere is. That shape is the same thing, flashback here, as what Spinel had actually used to make the 6 heroes. There we go. Figured it out. Made the 6 heroes go crazy back in Lockwa, and it seems that this one was a lot stronger. It's got 6 of the little orbs attached to it that then expose the Lockwium. Well, this time it's only got 1. So as we know, this was originally the Lockwium sphere. That's what these are. It's got 6 of them attached to it, probably for all of the 6 heroes. Thankfully, Rayquaza didn't actually end up getting affected by it too much, so that was good. But yeah, it seems like basically the same thing. It releases Lockwium onto your Pokemon and causes them to be stronger, basically. And she knows that that is basically the same thing that Spinel had. So interesting. Terapagos definitely doesn't like it. Obviously, not a big fan of that Lockwium stuff. And so the announcer basically tells her to go and give it her all in the battle. We got this random Exceed employee looking dapper, I suppose. Pulls out his Electivire, which she says she knows is the worst possible type advantage for her. It's really trying to sell how strong these spheres are by putting her in a very, very bad situation, at least what would conventionally be a bad situation, right? So battle starts, and Swanna versus Electivire usually wouldn't be too good. So she ends up throwing out her Lockwium sphere at Swanna here. Swanna's expression did change. We see it. Look at its eyes. It's got the same eyes as those that have been infected by Lockwium. The purple-pink mist, obviously, no way you can actually dispute this. And so he starts going for, I guess this is Thunder. That's all that makes sense to me. I don't, or like, maybe not Thunder, but like Zap Cannon? Something like that. I'm not too sure. And Swanna ends up avoiding all of it. It's got a far more determined expression, angry looking expression, but it avoids all of the lightning, and she goes for a water gun. Very weak water move, typically. Obviously, you know, we've seen characters make good use of it power-wise, you know, the power of the anime and such. This one is purple and pink and is basically a giant hyper beam looking blast. Uses water gun on the Electivire, and it's knocked out in 1 hit. Now, I would be one to believe that this is just kind of a big showing, like a big show off. Like maybe that Electivire was weakened or something like that. Maybe, you know, it wasn't at full energy. Maybe it's faking the feint, whatever. You know, they're trying to sell the product. Could be, could not be, but I honestly don't think so. I think that's just the sheer power, and they really wanted to illustrate that with this, that even of Swanna, which is using a water move on electric type, which isn't, it's type neutral, but it's a weak water move, one-shot this Electivire. From a Swanna, one-shot this thing. So, you know, really illustrating that these things are a big power-up, a massive power-up, and you really should be terrified, because frankly, at that point, I was when I first watched this. That was pretty damned insane. They have a winner. We see Ult here, again, looking very, unnerved, I guess is the best way to put it. Thinking to himself with Sableye there, and we do get the thumbs up from the pretty guy here, so very nice. Swanna comes back very tired, actually. You can see it, despite what they're talking, what they're saying and whatnot. You can see that Swanna is very tired and very unenergetic. This is the effect that Lockwium is having on Swanna, and we're gonna see that a little bit, again, a little bit more here in a second. She does ask how it was using the Lockwium sphere. It says that against such a tough opponent, it was surprising, never seeing a water gun like that before. Practically a hydro pump. Yeah, it was a big water gun that was purple. Not normal. Not a normal method of power up. It is literally drugging your Pokemon. That is effectively what it is doing. She thanks for giving it a try. Give her a round of applause. Right, so obviously all these people are getting massive demonstrations of these Lockwium spheres and what their effects are. They really want to go public with this. They really want to start selling them, whether that's to like make money or do some sort of control over all of this stuff. We're not going to know for now, but obviously Exceed developing this stuff and selling it to the public, that's going to cause a massive effect, not only probably on like trainer battles and stuff like that, where you now have basically mad Pokemon going loose, but you also have like the whatever environmental effects are of Lockwium and how that's going to like leave traces amount of the stuff around different battle areas, especially ones that are more populated and have more effects of the stuff. So we're going to see truly how much this is going to actually probably affect the world, basically, when this stuff actually starts really selling. So I'm very curious to see how that ends up going. And again, look at Swanna. It's extremely tired. So even just that, you know, that one batch of like flying around those electric particles and the one use of water gun, that's all that happened. That was it. It is so tired after that. Again, it is like a withdrawal effect from the Lockwium. It's insane. So filming is allowed. Make sure to tell your friends. Again, they want to really go public with this. Really want to probably try and sell as many as they can. And then Swanna and Locke isn't Bach walk away. So anyway, it says the eyes that Swanna had looked like the same as the Steelix's and the Vileplume when they were rampaging, and no doubt about it that they used Lockweum. I mean, we've known this, but you know, there's your, again, 100% evidence. Lockweum isn't all gone. So there's Bach, walks up the stairs with the Swanna, saying that they saw her battle and that the sphere is incredible, and with one of those, she might be able to beat her friends, which, you know, that's going to be the biggest appeal for this, is like, how easily can you goad trainers into using these things? Well, pretty easily if, you know, it's given certain contexts like this. It's like people want to be able to beat their friends. People want to beat like a gym challenge or like a trial or something like that. They want to see, oh, hey, there's this power up method, super strong power up method that makes your Pokemon's move super strong and your Pokemon super fast and stuff like that, right? It's like, obviously, what trainer wouldn't take that? So they're really trying to advertise it as like the best thing in the world, despite the fact that obviously we know it is very, very damaging to the Pokemon itself, given Swanna's reaction here is just the most upfront case right now. Asks if Swanna's feeling okay. She says that it's worn out from working hard and that it needs to get some rest. So, I mean, she's definitely caring of her Swanna, for sure. I got rudely interrupted. Anyway, so, I mean, we know she cares about her Pokemon and stuff like that, right? But obviously, probably not too aware of the exact effects Lockham's having on her Pokemon. Probably a lot worse than just needing rest. I mean, the first time probably isn't going to be bad. It's like smoking a cigarette, basically. You know, one cigarette, assuming it doesn't get you addicted, you'll probably be fine. No big deal. Nothing's not going to, like, kill you or anything. Same with alcohol. You know, big bad things, right? Probably not going to kill you the first time, and unless it gets you addicted again, whatever. Which, by the way, I think that's another aspect we should think about. Is Lockweum addictive? Just saying. That is something that needs to kind of be brought up, because it is, I mean, you know, say it's a bad theme to have in like a kid show or whatever, and say it's a trigger or whatever, but like Lockweum's basically a drug. It's literally like steroids, and steroids usually become addictive and then later on have massive recoil effects. And as we can see here, Swanna's very tired, probably gonna be tired for a while, probably needs a lot of rest, probably needs some extra training. You know, it's probably gonna have some bad effects on its overall health, just even being used for a little bit of seconds. So it's bad stuff. Obviously, Lockweum, bad stuff. So they remember Alt and do find him actually in the crowd here. Do mention him. Alt just kind of passively acknowledges Roy being there. Roy asks Alt what's up, and he says that he's just not feeling too good and to not talk to him, which, and later on we'll find out this is very funny, but whatever. So he's gone for now. We gotta wonder like what's up with him, stuff like that. We'll find out later. And then we get ourselves the second part of the show. Sorry for the wait. Let me introduce our special guest, the Explorer's very own Coral and Sidian. All right, Coral and Sidian are here. We did see them from the official teaser last time, but now we're actually getting their debut in this episode. So it seems that Coral has really gone into her whole e-girl looking personality. I'm sorry. I just think that's like the best way to put it. She really just... She looks like just a casual type, and just being honest. Cute little Coral, and then we got ourselves her fans in the crowd. Incels down bad. I'm kidding, mostly. I mean, people like Coral. It's whatever. I don't like Coral. I don't really like her at all, so I'm gonna be a little biased here, but whatever. I mean, you know, she's putting on the act. She's putting on the show. That much is obvious. That much is true. Makes sense. So there's the Explorers. Sidian just kind of looks around, looks at the crowd, and the crowd also likes him. I mean, he's moderately attractive, so that's probably something to do with it. I mean, they're fanboying, obviously. Everyone's fanboying over the Explorers, saying they're good people, saying they're great people, stuff like that, whatever. Cool, right? And then Sidian actually locks eyes with Liko, and then she kind of gives him the stare back, so we get some nice eye. I love this. This is awesome. I kind of love the rivalry that Sidian and Liko actually have. Usually it's Sidian getting his ass kicked pretty bad, but I mean, I don't know. I like it. I like Sidian a lot as an explorer, and Liko like kind of going against him is honestly pretty fun. I really do like it. So he does point out to Coral that they are here, and she notices them as well, and they say the Explorers are going to be holding an exhibition match, and they've already chosen their opponents, saying that they're friends, right? Yeah, totally. And it will, of course, be Liko and Roy. So we see Ult in the background here, also probably still watching the match, seeing exactly what's going to happen. And we do also have Chouse here. I did have to look her name up again before this episode to actually remember it. I don't remember her name. I don't even remember what her name is in the sub, because they don't say it. They really did not do a lot for Chouse within the first few seasons to make her that notable. She had a hacking bit, and of course she's another member of the Explorers, but she's not given nearly as much screen time or importance as Spinel, Coral, or Sidian. Just true. It's just how it is. Sadly. I mean, again, sadly. And they do look at each other again, and they're gonna go start throwing fisticuffs, right? They do want to give them a one of these Lockweed spheres, and they both just decline because, of course, they don't want them. Says, but, and then just kind of move on. Obviously, completely negating the point of a showing of the Lockweed spheres, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. So Coral puts on the little facade saying, "Thanks for coming, it's been forever, you two have been doing well," and Liko just gets pissed, which makes sense. I mean, they literally ruined their friendship, not their friendships, okay. They ruined their reputation, a lot of bad things happened, you know, lost one of their friends because of the entire event. Terrible things happened, you know, it makes sense that she is uber pissed at them because it is pretty much all their fault. And so she plays it up, being, you know, acting like she's hurt or whatever. And then the crowd just goes really pissy. This, honestly, to me, they've been doing a lot of tropes this series, and I could just be looking a little bit too much into it. But this really just feels like the typical situation. I mean, again, it's mostly been a theme this whole series, but it's really just being blatantly pointed out here is like, no matter how bad the person is that is super popular, super famous, or just if they just have friends, you know, we'll just say that if they've got people backing them, there's always going to be those supporters that are going to follow them loyally, even if they are bad people. And you can see that Coral immediately victimizes herself, which, granted, Liko did come off aggressive, so to any casual audience member, they wouldn't know. Says don't bully, and then you know, she looks upset, and they say don't bully her, and the crowd gets super upset. Get this guy again still cheering, and you know, basically kind of trashing on them for a little bit there. So again, that's just kind of another parallel to how, like, you know, online or just in person, or, you know, whatever it is, if you have an argument with somebody, good chance a lot of people are going to see you as the bad guy. You know, you know, it doesn't matter what happened. So a lot of people are going to see you as a bad person, even if your actions are justified. People who even don't have the full context going to get mad at you. Just one of these cool things that I do like to actually know. And of course, that is obviously highlighted in the biggest form with the fact that obviously the Explorers are not good people, and the fact that the Rising Bolt Tacklers are actually good people, but they're painting the Rising Bolt Tacklers as bad people. You know, that's one of the biggest aspects that they're kind of portraying that here, and this one is just a more direct like form of that. And Roy is just annoyed, saying that her act and demeanor is just really annoying, and you can see she says, "Oh, I'm just messing, I'm not actually upset." You know, whatever, makes sense. Seems like she's got a bit more of a temperament, a calm control over temperament for now. You'll see later. Anyway, so she says that you should know that those things are dangerous. Sidian just kind of counters, saying that they are a good invention, and they both bring out their Pokemon. We got ourselves the Garganacl and the Glalie here, of course. Looks like everyone's ready to battle, and we get the start. So they do ask, they're supposed to be promoting the new product. If they don't use it, there's no point. And then Ult just comes up, swipes the sphere from the guy, and he doesn't really care. He's like, okay, someone who's got the sphere, whatever, that's cool. And he kind of just looks at it. And then we go to the mid-card section. So about halfway through the episode, we get to see both of Sidian's Pokemon and both of Coral's Pokemon. It's been a while since we've had any other character other than like Liko, Roy, or Dot, or whatever. Like the main cast actually have their Pokemon here on the mid-card section. So it's cool to see. I do like that they're showing all of their Pokemon, even though we don't actually, spoiler alert, get to see Aerodactyl or Screamtail in this episode. So, interesting. So we are going to actually have the fight start between Coral, Sidian, and Liko and Roy. This is a pretty good fight, all in all. It says there's an exhibition match. Let the battle begin. I do like the MC here, or announcer, whatever. Very cool. So we start out with a Blizzard from Coral, who just looks fucking menacing. Good God. And Roy tries to counter it with a Flamethrower. They blast at each other, and Roy's Flamethrower ends up making it through, but doesn't really damage Glalie all that much. Whatever. And they're stronger than before. Go for Ice Spinner here to actually make the field icy. Say that they gotta dodge it. Go for Blizzard with the Ice Spinner. This is one of the coolest things. They know that they've gotten stronger, and they've started doing this. What an outrageous attack, where they start spewing ice and hail everywhere alongside using that Ice Spinner to make the field icy. Very good tactic, all things considered. I say can't escape. Use salt picking, which is salt cure, whatever. Blast it at Meowscarada. Meowscarada last second dodges it at Lico's command, and they've really got to be careful on what they're doing here. There's the blizzard getting pelted by that hail, and then there's also the salt cure that could come at them anytime from the Garganacl. And we can see again that frozen field here, and we can see everything that's not going so well for them. They're getting stronger. The point is that the explorers have gotten a lot stronger since the last time, which makes sense, obviously. Go for the salt cure. There's Crocoler, and Lico tries to just get them to stay calm. More so think about this. I mean, look at it. They're being pelted by hail and ice. They're on an icy platform, and they're getting also blasted with salt cure. So it's not really a great position for them. There's not really too much of an opening for them to attack. Goes for Ice Spinner again, and then Lico goes for Flower Trick. This is a pretty good strategy. Meowscarada goes for a bunch of Flower Tricks to actually try and halt Glalie Ice Spinner, and lands just like a bunch of mines on the floor, basically. Hits it, blows it up, it kind of stops spinning, and they go for Flamethrower on Glalie there in order to just really start melting at it. We do still get this frame here of Alt with the Lockbeam Sphere in his hand, like kind of pondering about it and whatnot. This guy, again, keeps popping up. Cute little coral. Fucking Lord Guy, you're annoying. That is actually so absurdly annoying. I hate it. Anyway, whatever. So she says she's starting to have fun, and they've got the Lockbeam Spheres here. It's time for them to actually use it on their Pokemon. And this is where we get to see the biggest effects of the Lockbeam Sphere on Garganacl and on Glalie. There they are. There's the strong spheres. And then we see Rollout. Rollout be used by Garganacl, and you can see the massive power coming from it. Meowscarada just punches Crocoler out of the way, and they both jump back before Garganacl can really hit them, because it was going to be pretty bad. Crocoler just looking like a dunce sitting there, about to get rolled, just steamrolled. Thankfully, Meowscarada's fast enough to help it out there. And when it stops landing, you can see this. Look at it. I never knew it could do this. It is forming cracks in Garganacl's salt body. That feels like murder. That's this left me kind of scared. I really felt bad for Garganacl in that sense, because that is just terrible. And we can see Glalie up here going for absolute. I believe this is Sheer Cold. Absolute Zero, I believe that's Sheer Cold. I don't know what the direct translation is, but I'm pretty sure it's what it is. Goes for Sheer Cold, and you can see the big purple mist coming out off of it, and probably just a stronger effect, even though, I mean, Sheer Cold lands get O-code, but whatever. What are you going to do? We already kind of knew that. Anyway, and we can see Glalie's body is getting so cold from that because of the boosted power of it. It's actually freezing its own core, which is pretty bad, obviously. And then you can see that's like the trace effects of this. Is like Glalie and Garganacl cannot handle their own power, and it's literally hurting their body. Again, it is like a drug. It's got its boosted effects that can seem good, but of course it's gonna have its massive recoil. Basically, it's insane. It's like having the ability Reckless or using Double Edge in Pokemon or whatever, right? It's pretty insane. And so we do see them actually start recovering from this. Garganacl mends its busted up legs, and Glalie like defrosts itself. And Lico just kind of points it out to them. Like, why are they taking this so far? And say, just look at their Pokemon. And that way, battling is anything but normal, and it's the Lockbeam Spheres. They're right. Literally, however they develop this thing to work, apparently what is happening is they'll use the Lockbeam Spheres to boost their abilities, and then their Pokemon kind of like self-regenerate once the effects of it have not made their course, but like once like their attacks are over. It's like once they like overload enough of their power, they have to actually use some sort of ability that looks similar to Recover, which I'm pretty sure Garganacl learns it, but I don't think Glalie does. Even if it does, they didn't command them to use Recover, so it's like, that's very bad. It's literally it's making the Pokemon stronger, but stronger to the point where it is actively hurting itself. Not even getting hurt from the withdrawals of the drug. It is literally getting hurt just by being too strong. It's like it can't handle its own power. So, again, terrible effects that this thing has. Very bad recoil effects. And Coral just kind of paints up Lico's argument, saying that she's just whining because she's losing, stuff like that. Of course, the fans are gonna agree and tell them to show some manners and stuff like that. Cydia makes the point that Pokemon are creatures that love to battle. Going all out in battle makes them happy, and Roy just does not believe that, really, saying that the Pokemon aren't even looking at their trainers. And again, I mean, it's hurting them. It literally is. It's terrible. Cydian just kind of deflects it, saying that's all they have to say. And Lico says that we know you don't need to rely on them. Your strong spheres will not outmatch us. This is interesting to me, saying you don't need to use to rely on those things. I don't know if this is them talking to them directly or more about themselves, but it seems like it with the terrestrial orbs coming out afterwards. But it also seems like, they acknowledge the explorers are strong. The explorers are strong trainers capable of getting stuff done. They don't need this artificial boost in order to actually be strong, because they are strong trainers. It's pretty obvious. I mean, again, they pointed out earlier that they had gotten a lot stronger, and I mean, that ice spinner blizzard trick, that is a pretty big thing. I mean, that could really throw a big loop or hurdle in a lot of different fights. So, Coral strong, Sidian strong. Why are they using these artificial boosts to their Pokemon? It's pretty insane. So they start to go for the terrestrial orbs, but then Garganacl goes for another rollout, smacks through Meowscarada and Crocodile in an instant, knocks them against the wall, and they're both KO'd. One tap. Crocodile and Meowscarada did not get hit once this fight. Maybe some like chip damage from blizzards and obviously some exhaustion from having to dodge attacks and use attacks and stuff like that, but they never got hit. One rollout from Garganacl and they are both down for the count. Again, another immense showing of how strong these things actually are. Not only can a Swanna's Water Gun OHKO and Electivire, apparently so can a Garganacl's rollout against both a Meowscarada and a Crocodile. It's insane. And there's the winner. We had it for the Explorers for you. And then Seng is fucking... I hate this. This is why I hate this. I'm getting upset. This is why I hate this character. We're not done here. The Explorers see things through, and they both go for Salt Cure and Ice Beam Blizzard something on the fucking corpses of these guys. I was so scared. How are they not dead? How are they not dead? This makes me sad. Well, okay, it makes me happy. Okay, they're not. It doesn't make me sad that they're not dead. Good lord, that sounds terrible. But that's just so bad. Frozen insulting their corpses, their knocked out corpses. That is actually evil. That is like, they really don't want them to get back up from that. And you can see their expressions are very justified in this, saying don't need to rely on those. Make sure you never say something, never act so high and mighty again. Oh boy, it's terrible. And we can see again here, Glalie starting to go for Blizzard, something like that. So Roy is done with it. Tells Cap to go for Volt Tackle, and then Cap just slams it up against the wall there, damages Glalie a good bit. Then we got Garganacl trying to grab at Pikachu. It goes for a double team. Uses Salt Cure, Pikachu's back, and it starts stumbling and wobbling a little bit. I don't know why Cap was so out of shape. I think Cap had too many snacks, but whatever, it's fine. But Coral just laughs at him, saying it's all wobbly, and they say that they're strong. So obviously, still Garganacl and Glalie still have the boost from the Lockwood, the boost from their strength and stuff like that. Still are really strong from the effects of that, even after having fought Meowscarada and Crocodile. Ult comes in after all of this. I feel so bad for Meowscarada and Crocodile. It is insane. They're salting and frozen all at the same time. That, I mean, you know how salt plus ice is. That hurts. That probably really hurts. Actually just terrible. Anyway, Ult comes in here to face both of them, and they're pretty confused on why he's there. It says the battle's done, right? Then face him next. And so they wonder if he's just coming to his aid, and he just tell them that they are strong, so fight him. But he says he doesn't like him. It's really funny. He actually makes Coral go ballistic. I love it. He says that their battles are lame, and that he'll show them a real battle. Roy kind of gets him to stop to not use the sphere, but he kind of cuts him off and says, of course he's not going to use it, and he smashes the sphere on the ground. So we do see that Ult is not actually going to seemingly pursue this level of strength, or this type of strength that the Lockwood sphere can provide, because he has seen the effects that it has. I mean, he's not as dense or as dumb. He has been like looking from the sidelines, seeing how things are, and I mean, again, he's not stupid. He can tell that the effects that it's having on their Pokemon are not good. Look at Garganacl's legs, Glalie's frozen body, Swanna's complete tiredness after the fact. It makes sense. He wouldn't want to use it on his own Pokemon. He says he mega doesn't like those things. And then Coral gets ballistic. She lost her cool. I guess it's probably an intended pun, frankly, given that she uses a Glalie, but whatever. So she said what she doesn't like is you, and tells Glalie to blow him away. Oh boy, we know what that means. So goes for Sableye Shadow Sneak, I believe is what this is. I'm not quite sure, but whatever. The heck do you mean a real battle? And then goes for Power Gem and just nails another attack on Glalie there. So doing a lot of damage, not really even trying too hard in this fight. Glalie is going to go down if this stuff keeps happening. And so she just is completely done, gets pissed, says just blow them all away. Sidian knows what that entails and tells her to stop, to not do it, and we can see Glalie start to heat up here against the Sableye. Okay, Sidian has a brain, and there are two very good reasons on why you should not be doing this. And honestly, I don't think they even explored one of them. So the main reason is when it starts to blow up, the audience gets pretty nervous, and then it uses explosion, but the walls come up right before, and you can hear the explosion. So great, that's one thing. Protect the audience. If you use an explosion in this room, everyone's gonna get blasted with ice, smoke, smog, probably potentially the fucking ensuing explosion, right? And that's not good. Which, granted, Ult and Sidian are also in that same blast radius, so uh-oh. But whatever. Second, that's a ghost type, pal. They didn't really like kind of mention that, but this is a ghost type. I don't think Sableye quite cares about Glalie blowing up when it's a ghost type. So that's very funny. But then Chalice here does pull the lever on this whole thing. It presses the button to make the doors go up and says that the event is over. So they do kind of passively say, oh, the event's now concluded, and the audience is very happy, saying don't know what exactly happened. It was an awesome battle. And we do have this fanboy saying, oh, cool self-destruct, love the performance style. Fucking simp, good lord, go pay for OnlyFans. But yeah, whatever. So they do get out. They do escape. I wanted to see the recovery process of Clocker and Crocolor and Meowscarada, because that salt icing is not great. That's very scary, if anything. Good lord. Again, that terrified me the whole time. I was like, that is a good way to kill them. I think, especially considering they are already fainted. It's like, wow. And Ult, of course, got out just fine, because again, you self-destruct against a fucking ghost type. Good job, Coral. Good job. So, of course, Coral is very upset, saying that Ult basically came in and ruined everything. Sidian asks what they should do now they got away, and says that they're just going to leave him. Just let him go. That's what Chalice says. And it says, no payback for making us look like chumps, and said not to forget, we are the explorers. We continue to present ourselves as ideal trainers and figures of admiration, and as long as the public is on their side, they can't do anything. And, of course, Coral is not a big fan of that because, you know, she wants action, she wants drama, whatever. Right, makes sense. But of course, Chalice makes perfect sense here, because you are the public official. You've got all the public image you need. You do not need to worry about what these kids think about you, what they're doing, whatever, because you've already got the public. You've got yourself this awesome invention that people love. You can make a ton of money. You can get a ton of research in. There's a lot you can do just by releasing this thing, especially if it's a drug, but whatever. So yeah. Everything from the Pokemon food to urban development. Exceed creates the ideal future with Pokemon. I don't know what town we're in. Looks like one in Kalos, but whatever. It's fine. Testing Center's demo event is a hot topic online, and the strong spheres have currently piqued everyone's curiosity. So, this is Dot telling them basically everything that happened after that event went down. And, well, everyone likes them, obviously. I mean, it makes sense. It gives your Pokemon a big boost. But they don't know or don't notice that it's got a bad adverse effect, right? Again, you know, the damage the Pokemon can do to themselves while under the effects of the Lockwium, and also the damage and fatigue that they have after it. You know, it's, again, not a great thing. Exceed has occupied Mount Kumuri, and there must still be a Lockwium left, and that would be the source. We don't know how, you know, where the Lockwium's coming from. I'm honestly of the idea now that there may be a Pokemon underneath in Lockwood generating Lockwium. That is all that makes sense to me at this point, because you would think that Terapagos would destroy all of it, but I don't know. Maybe it is just going to be a cop-out and say, oh, Terapagos didn't destroy all of it. Could be, but honestly, I don't know how much I really believe that. We'll just have to see, right? No one's going to believe a word that they say about it, but we have a little off-screen list that says, I'll believe you. Ult believes them. Yes, cool. So this gives us a little bit more context on how Ult is feeling. And she thanks Ult, and he says it's nothing. And Roy just says, you might have saved us, but you're just as reckless as ever. Kind of just more embarrassing gag moments here. Saying that if you saved him, may as well cut the back talk. And just wanted to run wild, which I honestly really like that. I honestly like that Ult. I mean, he did it, of course, to be nice. As nice to them, of course. You know, there's rivals, friends, whatever you want to call them, I guess. But of course, also he did it for himself. It's like, you know, he's got this big chance to look like a big shot in front of the Exceed guys and really like backtalk him. I mean, he really pissed off Coral, which is really funny. You know, he can fight them all with that stuff, and it's honestly pretty funny. But regardless, he did it for himself. But still, it was nice of him to do. So Roy does question him on like why he was acting weird, and he says that he was himself, but Roy goes into like how he was acting. He says he was like that because of the bus. That was it. That entire like unnerving look he had, like that moment of deep thought or like anger or whatever he had. No, he was he was car sick. That's it. That's literally all it was. That's all they painted up to. Literally all it was, which is really funny to me. So shut up and to forget it. And that wrecking those guys did make him feel better. Says his mind's made up that he's gonna come with them. So we actually are gonna get our trio back, but instead it's gonna be more of a quartet, or I guess a 3.5, because we've got our trio of Alt, Rico. I fused their names. That's fine. We'll call him Roko, Roy, and Liko. Roku television. But we got Liko, Roy, Dot, I guess, is a side character, and then Alt, of course. So that's gonna be our little quartet there, and our main trio is gonna be traveling together with Dot on the sidelines. I'm gonna get way too confused with this. Good God. Whatever. So he's got no choice. I worry about what happened to them without them, and Roy just kind of gives up, doesn't really care too much. Says if he's all right. So this is where we kind of get more into it. Liko just asks if they could go together. Having someone with an eye for Pokemon along will help push him forward, and we get the boy with a little bit of fluster. He's a little flustered, and Roy kind of nags him, saying, "All Pokemon are all you've got your eye on, right?" And tells him to shut up or whatever. And Liko just gives a smile. It's honestly pretty interesting for me to see that Pokemon is still exploring more of these ideas of like relationships in this area, because obviously, okay, not relationship, let's back that up a bit. But obviously Alt, he seems to be crushing pretty hard on Liko. That seems to be the case. It's pretty obvious with the way he's acting. I mean, we saw this little piece of dialogue here asking if he's all right. Seems like he's kind of just getting an excuse to like travel with Liko and whatnot, right? He'll probably fight Roy for strength, obviously, stuff like that. I mean, obviously he's probably going to want to travel with Roy too, but he's crushing pretty hard on Liko. That's pretty simple, and Roy does just kind of straight up point that out, which is really funny to me. I do like this. I love this look on Roy's face. He knows exactly what he's doing, and I love it. Teasing people about love interest is one of the best things ever. I'm sorry, it's fun. It's all in good fun as long as it doesn't actually get incessant. I really do like it. It's funny. And again, sweet smile there. And we do see Sableye, of course, really, really being a big fan of Terapagos, or at least the idea of eating Terapagos. Poor thing. And that's just another reason for them to travel together. Terapagos does end up looking to the side. Liko does ask if anything's wrong, and then things are okay now. But we can see it kind of like trying to, pry and like claw its way towards whatever direction that is. It says that Pogo is trying to tell them something, and you can kind of see it in that direction. We see the mountain here. This might be Mount Kamuri. I'm guessing that's what it is. And we see this little temple. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I am very curious because it seems like it's a good thing for Terapagos. It doesn't seem like it's angry, but it does seem like there's going to be something very important in this little passage temple looking area here. I'm very curious to see how it goes. We obviously don't really know anything, but obviously it's very interesting. I'm so curious behind that. And that's the end of the episode, of course. That's the to be continued. So we'll have to see where this is, what this is about next time, or at least within the next few episodes. See where Terapagos is wanting to go. What is there? Is it Rayquaza? Is it Zygarde? Is it Freed? We're not going to know. We're not going to know yet. And then we get ourselves the Neo Thing Mega Evolution segment with Absol. We can see Mega Absol here. Very nice. I love Mega Absol. It's so pretty. It's so nice. Its attack and speed have sharply risen, so be careful when approaching. I love this actually just dominant look of Absol, just having its claw on the back of Nido Thing there. I was like, yeah, don't mess with me. Thank you. So, such sassy behavior. I do love it. And we get ourselves the next episode here. So, Roy, where's the Black Rayquaza now? No way that I'd know that. I'm going to obtain the Black Rayquaza and become the strongest. And we do see the images here of these Cyclizar guys with people in the background with Lance's outfit. Very interesting. We don't really know anything about them. It's a dragon gang. Cool. As what is it, Terapagos? Could there be something off in the direction Terapagos is crying? Maybe. And to be continued. We see this. We got ourselves this dragon gang, and then we have this Dratini getting locked in a cage, Seviper spitting poison, and we all, again, these dragon gang people here. Clash the Blooming Dragons Gang. That is what the next episode is called. I guess we're gonna have some people that are in a dragon gang with probably some strong dragon types. They had those Cyclizar motorcycles. I mean, that's basically what Cyclizar is, right? Interesting to see, for sure, I guess. And then someone trying to kidnap a Dratini and like use a Seviper and like poach, probably. So Pokemon poachers plus Dragon Gang plus Terapagos looking off in a completely different area, like kind of leading them somewhere. I guess we're gonna find out what it's about. It's kind of like the original Journey to Lockwell again, where they, Terapagos was leading them there the whole time, basically. Well, seems like now it's doing it again, and we'll just have to see how these like new guys in Lance's outfit end up working. So that's interesting. But yeah, overall good episode. I really like the themes that it explored. I love like the idea of people really just being behind the explorers, even despite knowing that or not knowing that they are bad people. It's just the thing is like, they painted themselves in a good image. Of course, we know that they're bad, but not everyone knows that. And it again just also boils down to like, no matter what a person does, there's always going to be people that support them. There's going to be people who don't know the full situation, and you're going to get harped on for it. That's one of the bigger like emotional themes they explore. Also, alt crushing on Liko is a very interesting dynamic. Of course, we did see that kind of at the beginning, where he was kind of like playing it cool with her, I guess. Being kind of just seeming disinterested. Very typical, very childish behavior that it's very easy to point out whenever someone likes someone. Very curious to see how that goes. Very curious. But it was a good episode. I did like the fight as well. It was one of the best fights, in my opinion, in so far, is the fight with Sidian and Coral versus Liko and Roy there. I did like that one. I think it was really good. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I love the extra open question of like, what is Terapagos leading them to? What's there? Is it something we know? Is it something new? We'll just have to find out. So yeah, let me know what you all think about this episode down in the comments below. Of course, we'll be here for next week for the Blooming Dragon Gang episode. And yeah, I'll see you all then. I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.